Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. So, I always like to bring you guys, I've been kind of hovering over going back and forth on this factual information and just trying to check different sources to see if this is really a thing. And there have been quite a few trusted sources that I just absolutely, follow for news. And so I feel comfortable enough to bring this to you. Disclaimer, please do research on your own and make sure that you understand things for yourself. But this definitely concerned me. I have already done a commentary about Roe versus Wade. It's very clear where I stand on that. I am absolutely pro-choice. So, to say all of that, there has been this thing going around. I think a lot of women have seen it, and some guys too, but it talks about how if you are tracking your menstrual cycle, if you use certain apps to track your menstrual cycle, that you should be careful about using these apps because of how much information it holds about your personal being. So, here is something that was written up by NPR. And it says how period tracking apps and data privacy fit into a post-Roe versus Wade climate. Okay? And it says millions of people use apps to help track their menstrual cycles. Some of these include Flow, with 43 million active users, and Clue, an app claiming to have 12 million monthly active users. The personal health data stored in these apps is among the most intimate types of information a person can share. The apps can show when their period stops and starts and when a pregnancy stops and starts. That has privacy experts on edge because if abortion is ever criminalized, this data, whether subpoenaed or sold to a third party, could be used to suggest that someone had or is considering an abortion. Let me tell you something. It's getting out of control. It really is. This is getting out of control. I don't care where you are in your life. If you personally have had an abortion, if you have ever considered having an abortion, if you walked into the clinic and then decided at the last minute you did not want to do it. I'm not judging you either way, okay, in any shape or form. But what I will say is this. When powers that be want to take away your personal rights, this is literally the powers that be in your uterus. I know I have people of all walks of life. I may lose listeners behind this, but that's okay. This is somebody within your uterus telling you what you can do with your body. And I'm telling you, you don't want to vote. You don't want to get out there and try to affect change. This is the sort of thing that starts to happen. So for all of you who decide that you don't want to vote, and this is not just women, this is men too. You decided to sit back and not vote, and we let this crazy lunatic into office for 4 years. Okay, he's gone now. This is the sort of thing that can happen. If you sit back and you decide, okay, I'm going to do nothing, you might as well be working for the other side. You know what I'm saying? Because sitting back and doing nothing, silence is acceptance. And we cannot be silent on this. I know I have a pretty big platform with the people who are listening to this podcast, so I am going to talk about it on here. I'm a part of several different organizations. I sit on a couple of boards. Listen, I'm out in my community and I'm doing things and I'm affecting change. If you want to see change, you have to be the change that you want to see. And I know there are also, listen, I grew up in one of the most religious type scenarios you ever want to know, but I do not have any interest in controlling what somebody else does with their body. I just don't, as I don't want anybody to tell me what I can and cannot do with my body. We have to realize that your local politicians are important. You have to vote for them. Your city aldermen, your judges, all of these different things that you are able to vote for. You can't just show up for the presidential election. You have to show up for your local, your state. And local and state are really where it's at for a lot of this. You can't just show up to federal level. This is local. There's three. Local, state, and federal. All are important, but local and state is what affects you directly right now, where you are, where you live. And if you start putting these crazy people into office, this is the sort of outcomes that you get. You put these type of folks into the House, you put these, type of folks into the Senate. These are our lawmakers. But you have to understand, I don't think people understand the power that we the people have. We give them their jobs. They don't just end up in office they end up in office because of their campaigning. They end up in office because of them going around promising whatever they said they were going to do. We have the power to remove these people from office. We have the power to not vote for these folks that are problematic. And I know that folks may not understand all the backgrounds of voting and bills, and I know you've been hearing the word codify and all these different things. Google is your friend. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time walking you through all of that, because if you're listening to this, you have access to the internet. Get on Google and start really looking at this. Go look up the old Roe versus Wade and see just how deep this really goes. I have a lot of personal opinions about things and what have you, but I am not interested in controlling anyone's personal decision over their physical body. That's not my decision to make. And it's not anybody else's decision to make or moral decision. And if they want to make this decision, this is a decision that they need to make with themselves, their partner, and they can talk to God. I am not here to be the go-between them and God. And whoever is listening to this, it's none of your business either. We have to be more diligent about the people that we're putting into office, because with these sweeping legislations, as this would potentially be, and it's getting that much closer to actually happening, this is where things start to turn and get really scary. So don't think that your voice doesn't make a difference. Yes, we can protest, we can get out there, we can make noise, all of that. But really, how you want to use your voice is in your vote. Why do you think they were trying to still suppress votes in this modern day and age? Especially of groups of people who can seriously affect change. Votes are so important. And quite frankly, black folks haven't been voting that long. Women have not even been voting that long. folks, you have to wake up. This is a smaller issue. Well, it's really not a smaller issue. It's a huge issue. But this is not the only issue. I'll say it that way. This is not the only important issue, but this is a shining example of why we cannot just sit back when it comes to voting on the state and local levels. And neither at the federal level either. We have to take seriously going to the polls and showing through our voice, our vote, what it is that we want and what is happening. And if you keep voting people who do not believe in pro-choice, these are the sort of things that are going to happen. I know that there are plenty of folks that run for office that have these amazing platforms. But you really have to look at the overall person and what is it that they really stand for. And it can't just be the one thing, oh, I love 80% of what this person is about, but this 20%, ooh, they believe in pro-choice, so I can't vote for them. You got to look at the total package of the person and what they're bringing to the table, because now look where we are. I know that people are going to have their opinions. And again, I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion. Having worked in the Capitol Hill space and been up in all of these offices in the Senate, House, all of that, I've seen it up front, up close. Sat with the lawmakers. Asked them questions. They asked me questions, met these people firsthand. I'm like, wow, this is Senator so-and-so. This is, House member so-and-so. Like, listen, I've been there, done that. But this is so important. If we start losing these liberties, there's going to be so many other that are going to be so much easier to just run right over and put into law. And this is a major one. This is one of the majors. So, no matter where you stand, no matter what your situation is, pay attention to what is happening right now, because it's serious. This is a 911 emergency on our liberties. And we have to take that seriously. We have to. All right. Like, share, subscribe to this podcast. Pass this podcast along to someone that you feel it will help. Someone that you feel needs to hear a good word. We're positive over here. We talk about real life experiences over here, especially in the small business ownership and entrepreneur space. Feel free to tag me on social media. Let me know that you're listening. Even if you disagree, it's okay. We can disagree. I don't have an issue with people disagreeing. We can have open dialogue. Tag me and let me know. I'll repost you in my stories as a shout out. Thank you so much for your continuous support, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.honey.com. tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.